were homeless, sleeping in a car, sleeping in a shelter, and those were actually bad, but the time with the family wasn't that bad. I've wasted so many years of my life trying to chase more and more and more and more and more when I'm already in the top 1% of the world. My definition of success is different than others. Like, I place success on happiness. I have to make something of myself. Like, I literally just locked in immediately. Becoming a millionaire changed me mentally because I became a lot quieter. When I was posting my videos during COVID, all of my views were like 800,000, 900,000, a million, 700K, 600K, 500K. And I thought that was like gonna be like that forever. My name is Chris Swaggy C. Williams. I am 30 years old. I've lived in Los Angeles, Puerto Rico, Dallas, Missouri, North Carolina, and right now I live in Dubai. I grew up between Bridgeport, Connecticut and Greenville, North Carolina. People may not know where Greenville is, but that's where Mr. Beast lives. I was always the new kid every single year. So I kind of had to be comfortable with being like uncomfortable and like being like the new kid and feeling weird and feeling awkward and making new friends over and over and over again. It started to hit me as a kid once I got to like 6th grade and 7th grade and 8th grade and didn't have much food. And I started to get older and older and older and started to be, attracted to girls and started going through puberty and things like that. Then it started to have like an impact on me. Like, I started to realize that I'm not like everybody else. But home life in either of those locations, believe it or not, wasn't that bad. Primarily because we lived as a big family. It was my dad, it was my brother, and it was my grandma, and it was my grandfather. And my grandmother adopted a bunch of kids. Like, we had like 5 or 6 adopted kids who were like my cousins. We didn't have much, but when we were all together, we had something, right? Like, there were times where we didn't have food to eat, or we didn't have water, like clean water, so we'd have to take like empty jugs to go next door, have them fill it up, and then bring it back for like clean water. But then we'd still play basketball outside, like pretend basketball or baseball with like a wiffle ball and bat and stuff like that. But there were years where we didn't have any of them, and it was just me and my dad and my brother. We were homeless, sleeping in a car, sleeping in a shelter, and those were actually bad. But the time with the family wasn't that bad. I first became aware my situation wasn't normal in 8th grade because I was homeless at 6 years old, sleeping in a car, and we had like a CD player, and like all we had was like Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and like that was kind of fun to me, even though like my dad was probably stressed out. 8th grade is when it hit me because, like I said, like now I like girls, now I'm going through puberty, and I'm moving from North Carolina yet again to Connecticut, and we don't have a place to stay, so we're going back to the shelter. I had to go to school from the shelter. And I remember the school made an announcement and they literally said, hey guys, we have 2 new kids in the school. They're homeless, so we're gonna do like a drive for them to try to raise them some money to do. They could have done that behind the scenes. They did that when there were only 2 new kids who were new in the middle of a school year. All year, I had to deal with like looks of people like looking at me as if I'm homeless, or asking me, am I homeless, or seeing me after school walking to the shelter with like a trash bag and things like that. And like they had to like look at me and I'm like one of their peers, you know what I mean? So that was when I realized my situation wasn't normal, because I'm seeing all of them go into like, their house or their apartment and things like that, and I obviously wasn't. My dad played the biggest role in my life over anybody else by far, because when I was young, my mom and dad got divorced, like really, really young. So like my entire life up until middle of high school, when my dad got into a coma, I've lived with my dad the entire time. Everything I've learned in terms of how to be a man, how to fight, how to play sports, how to navigate certain situations, all came from him. And the biggest thing was how to become a man, because he taught me early on that like, I gotta take care of the household, it's all on me, because like he was sick earlier on, and like, we were homeless at, like I said, 8th grade as well. So 9th grade, like instead of like worrying about school crushes and girl crushes, I was worried about, okay, like how to pay rent and things like that and working. And I was worried about a whole bunch of things that my peers in 9th grade weren't really worried about. Being a father to me means responsibility more than anything. This is the one thing and the one person in this entire universe who did not ask to be here, and you forcefully brought them here. I think that being a parent is probably like the greatest reward you can have, because like you're literally molding someone into this world, And I think that it tests you in a lot of different ways, right? As we're doing this shoot, a lot of times they keep running in and out and stuff like that, and they just want to have fun. They don't understand things, they're innocent, but I can't ask for anything better. My definition of success is different than others. Like, I place success on happiness. I could be making $1 million a month and still trying to find the next thing and not really be as happy, and somebody could be making 100K a year and be perfectly happy, right? That person is more successful than me theoretically, because they have enough. I've wasted so many years of my life trying to chase more and more and more and more and more when I'm already in the top 1% of the world. There's not that many people who can say like they make anywhere from 700K to $1 million a month and over a period of a couple of years consistently. But for me, I feel like that's a failure. Like that's not good enough because I'm looking at my peers who are doing, 2 million a month and 3 and selling for, massive amounts and have a crazy valuation. But then I go back to my city in Bridgeport, I'm just like, okay, they would like be happy with 700K a year. 2014 was the biggest year of my life, just period. The girlfriend that I had for 5 years, like left me. Like I got no closure, she just left. Then a couple months later, my dad died and my dad raised me. So like I have this girl who like I went through all of high school with, and in our first year of college, she leaves. And then a few months later, my dad dies. When both of that happened, it kind of made me think that like, okay, I have to make something of myself. Like I literally just locked in immediately. It was okay, I lost my dad, I gotta make him proud, and I lost my girl, I gotta make her regret. That same year, everything happened to me because I was actively looking for something to better my life with. I came across Tai Lopez, like that started my entire journey. Like the Here in My Garage ad that everybody like wants to make fun of now, like I was there in real life time when the ad was running, like not a YouTube, I was there live when it was going on, right? And so I ended up watching the full ad, ended up going to the full 2-hour seminar, ended up watching the whole 2-hour seminar, ended up buying the 67 Steps program right after that. He didn't teach trading, but he mentioned the type of things you can do to make money, make your first 5K, 10K, and trading was one of them. So it intrigued me to hear that, because I researched all of it, right? I researched social media agencies, I researched freelance, and I researched everything, right? Trading was the one that like stuck out to me the most because the amount of money you could actually make with trading. When I made my first $2,000 in trading, like that was by far the richest I ever felt as a trader, because I had no money. I used like a college refund check to put into a trading account. My first big win in life was probably when I made my first 100K. And when I mean first 100K, I don't mean like in a year, so like 8.333K a month. I mean like my first 100K in a month. When I did that, that showed me that money isn't necessarily real. More so that like you can get as much of it as you want. As long as you're creative, you can think of ideas and put it out to the marketplace. And if they like it, they like it. They don't, they don't. You just test it out and throw it out there. Becoming a millionaire changed me mentally because I became a lot quieter. I think that a lot of people in my life are shocked at who I am today, mainly because if people saw who I was before I was a millionaire, like they don't believe who I am now. Like I was extra, like I was loud, I was arrogant, I was was crazy. Like if people go back to the TV show I was on, Big Brother, and they see Swaggy C, they're like, that is not the Swaggy C I know, technically, you know what I mean? Becoming a millionaire has like shown me that like people will like literally not talk to you for 10, 20 years and then like randomly pop back up into your life the moment you become a millionaire. It caused me to be more reserved into myself because now I don't trust people. Now I look at people sideways when they try to talk to me or X, Y, and Z. Not like random people because they don't know I'm a millionaire, but like on social media or people who I've been to school with who I haven't talked to literally for the last 14 years. But it's also caused me to want more, right? Like when I was making 100K, I don't think I wanted more so badly, right? Like I wanted more, but I was like, okay, I'm at 100K, I'm living good right now. When I made $1 million, I'm like, oh, so if I put a little bit more effort, I can make 5, and I can make 10, and I can make 15, and I can make 20. I keep going on and on and on and on and on. It just taught me a lot of things. And one thing was, like I said, you can always have more. Just try to like not kill yourself over it. And 2, be more reserved because people are gonna pop up out of nowhere in your life. I think for becoming a trading influencer, everything has its highs and lows. Like everything comes and everything goes. And I think the momentum is starting to go down a little bit. I don't think the momentum will ever go down for people who's already like made it and it's already established. But it is a lot harder for people who are 19 and 20 who are actually killing it to come in and get a following like me and try to monetize, their skill set, right? So right now, there's AI for everything. And like, with ChatGPT, your answers are instant. With Netflix, the show you can watch all of it in one day. So everybody's used to getting things instantly. That has lowered the attention span of those who want to actually learn about trading. And then when they realize trading is not instant, they quit. So it's hard for a trading influencer to come in 2025 and be like, oh yeah, like I'm gonna teach you how to trade, but it may take 2, 3, 4 years. People don't have that type of time. Back in 2016, people had all the time in the world. They were less skeptical. When Ty did the Here in My Garage, like he gets laughed at now by Gen Z, but like nobody was laughing in 2014. They were taking him seriously. Like, okay, who's this guy? Let me like look into him, look into his program. Nobody was like, taking him as a joke back then. And then you go back into actual COVID. Like I said, I think even for me, I think I even got misconstrued a little bit is because when I was posting my videos during COVID, all of my views were like 800,000, 900,000, a million, 700K, 600K, 500K. And I thought that was like gonna be like that forever. As time went on, when COVID ended, I started getting views just like, 200K, 100K, 50K, 60K, 40K, 300K, depending on what the video is. And I started to see it fluctuate that, okay, now people have their life back. So like they're picking and choosing on what to watch, on if they even care or not anymore. Versus in COVID, they watched every single video to a T because they wanted to learn how to trade, especially if they're locked in their own house. I will say, if there is a recession in the United States, that would probably be the second and last bubble of this trading thing. And I think that if a recession comes and goes, I think after that, it'll be very, very hard to be a trading influencer in 2030. Like, I think it'll be honestly non-existent. Like, I'm not teaching how to trade in 2030. I don't think Q is either. I don't think any of my peers are either. I think we're on to bigger and better things, right? The last thing I'll say is, I never did this to become a trading influencer. I don't think any of us, I can't speak for other people, but I can say I genuinely wanted to be profitable. Once I got there, I genuinely was proud of myself. It was like a weird effect because I was on a reality TV show called The Challenge, and I hated my experience there so much, and I hated the people there so much because of how the show played out behind the scenes, that like I was making so much money with trading that like I was trying to post online to prove to them, like, I don't need this reality TV money, I'm actually making real money with trading on social media. And it just so happened that it didn't even, it got to them, but it didn't really get to them. It got to a random audience who just like, oh, what is this you're doing? And oh, I want to learn from this. And I was like, oh, okay, well, here's a free course. And I made a free course, gave it to them. I think 400 people signed up for free, gave it to them. And then it was like, oh, we want to learn more. And I was like, okay, if you want to learn more, it's gonna take my time. Let me charge for this. And when I charged for it, I guess it was kind of right timing because it was like 5 months before COVID. As time went on, it just got a snowball effect to the point that we got 20,000 people to sign up in a matter of a year and a half. And it was just like, okay, like that's how I became a trading influencer. But I just genuinely wanted to share my profits and like stick it in the faces of people who were laughing at me, not to teach and monetize my audience. So the last thing I say is that, like, yeah, I think the bubble, you got about 2 or 3 years left. And if there's no recession, maybe even less than that.